string on this black carpet, and it didn't pick the string up. And you ran back over it 3 or 4 times, still didn't pick it up.
Right.
What you do, reach down, pick it up, and put it in your pocket?
Yeah, or put it in the garbage,
Yeah, I've seen some ladies, and this seems kind of silly. They'll actually take the vacuum cleaner head and turn it over and pick the string up, try to feed it to it. Ever done that?
No. That is one thing I have not done yet.
Good. But a lot of people, they will. They'll reach down, put it up, and put it in their pocket. And didn't you ever wonder why it didn't pick the string up?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't picking anything up. If it can't pick a string up, do you think it can pick dirt up? No, I'm gonna show you that. Let's hook this up and I'll actually show you. And again, right now that seems kind of illogical to you. So what we'll do is we'll plug this up and I'm gonna do a really quick demonstration of how a bag blocks up. Normally, what I do is I take your vacuum. However, what I'll do today, rather than take your vacuum and do it instead of dragging it out and get that musty smell in here, I'll just use these little things to represent the bag. And by the way, this is cheesecloth. That's what some of the vacuums used to use in theirs, like Kirby many years ago. That's a cheesecloth material that bags are made of. I want you to notice how big those holes are in that bag. You can see those holes, can't you?
You see through it, yeah.
Now, I'm going to stop that up in just a minute and show you how quick it stops up. And remember this, the holes in your Eureka bag, they're paper. And those holes are little bitty holes, and you can't see those holes. Now, if I can stop those big holes up, how much quicker do you think those little bitty ones will stop up?
Pretty fast.
Real quick. Let me show you something. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to put this on here, and we're going to take our upholstery 2. I've got the equivalent of your vacuum cleaner now. As a matter of fact, I've got the equivalent of a Kirby, Electrolux, Filter Queen, or whatever. What I'm doing right now is I'm pulling air off the floor. You hear that air?
Yeah.
So that. Now that air, let me do it so you see. So that air, that's what picks the dirt up. As you go over the floor, that rushing air pulls the dirt into the bag. The air goes through the bag, and the dirt's supposed to stay in there. Now let me show you what happens. You know, a lot of people think it's the suction that cleans. Let me show you something. This is suction here. Now that's not really what cleans. This right here is called airflow. That's what picks your dirt up. And what happens is when you coat this bag, you'll lose that airflow. And when you coat it, it's really irrelevant how much suction you got. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you'll slide down just a second here, what we'll do is you're changing that motor.
Right.
What do you think happened?
Bag stopped up?
Bag is stopped up. That's right. I'm going to do that again, but let me show you what happened first. Here's what happened. We stopped the pores of the bag up where it couldn't pull air through it. Once you stop the pores of the bag up where air can't get through it, you can no longer pick up dirt. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to show you that. Now, notice you've got a questioning look. Did you not believe that?
I didn't think it would really make that much of a difference.
Oh, it makes lots of difference, yeah. And with Airway, see, we don't have that problem, but I'll lay this right here for right now. And I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to actually let you physically hear it this time stop up. What we'll do is we'll put a cloth on here, which represents your vacuum bag, because the air goes through this bag here. We'll put our little tool on here. And right now, let me show you something. Right now, I've got what's called airflow. And airflow, by the way, again, is what picks up the dirt like that. See, I can pick that cloth in from the air about 2 inches away. That's airflow. This is the suction. Now, I can actually lose that airflow with the dust coating like I did a moment ago, and I'll still have that. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Remembering now that the airflow is what cleans, listen to this. You know what plays the harmonica? Air. Okay, again, put a harmonica on here. We'll go back to the couch. And this time, all right, listen to the motor. To the motor? Get over here where the skin's at. The motor's going into a real big whine. As a matter of fact, right now, we're through cleaning. Now, if I want to go ahead and push this machine around the house for about 30 minutes like you do, I can. Let me show you how much good you're doing. At this point, I doubt seriously, Lisa, if you even picked up a string. Let me show you why. Remember that air picks the dirt up. How much air am I putting?
None. Hardly at all.
Well, let me ask you a question. What's going to pick the dirt up?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's correct. Remember the harmonica I had played?
Mm-hmm.
Just barely now. Almost no dirt. I mean, no air going through here. And it's not enough air to even pick up the string. Would you believe that that would have stopped up that quick?
No.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? Now, a lot of people think the bag is filled up. The bag didn't fill up. All it did was coat. Now, this bag coated in just a few seconds because it's a little bitty bag. Your Eureka bag is a big bag. It'll coat in 5, 6, 7 minutes. Just like that. All you got to do is coat. That's the reason you don't have to empty it but every 1 or 2 months. As a matter of fact, you said you empty it once a month. I got to really tell you the bag's not full. It's not even half full. I bet it's not even a third full. I bet you could go 3 months without emptying that bag, couldn't you? How full is it?
I don't have any idea now.
All right. Let me ask you this. When you empty the bag, have you ever accidentally torn it?
Yes.
Yeah. And you were probably kind of confused when you looked inside the bag because you didn't have any dirt in the bag.
It wasn't full. It wasn't even close.
Correct. You want me to? I can tell you the color what you had in the bag. You had light-colored carpet like this right here, fibers, and you had black fibers, some from this right here. Because see, what happened is the sand and the grit that you're leaving in your carpet has got cutting edges on it. And when you walk on that, you're grinding that dirt and sand against those carpet fibers, and you cut them, and what happens is you're picking up carpet fibers with your vacuum. That's really about all you're picking up. Have you ever pulled up a carpet, or have you been around when your husband pulled up a carpet, or your dad?
My dad.
What was under the carpet?
Dirt.
Yes. About that much. You know how it got there? Your vacuum's not picking it up. It's vibrating down into the carpet. I sold this machine about 6 months ago to a guy that installed carpet. I was in a group, doing a group demo. And he told everybody there that he had pulled up a living room carpet in a 20 by 20 room that day. And when he pulled it up, he took a broom and swept all the dirt under the carpet to the center of the room, took a 10-gallon bucket and filled it over half full of dirt that was under the carpet. Well, here's what I'm telling you, is there's no, and I'm going to get that in just a minute, there's no vacuum cleaner that's got a standard bag in it that can clean. It doesn't matter if it's a Eureka or, and I'm not using names to throw off on the names, it doesn't matter. It could be Eureka, Hoover, it could be Kirby, it doesn't matter. If the bag has got straight holes through it, it'll stop up when it stops up. It can't clean, no matter what kind it is. On the other hand, Airway doesn't have those holes going straight through here. Airway, remember, pulls the air down through that bag there, and it's got a cage it sets in. I'm going to show you that in a minute. I've got unobstructed airflow in the beginning, and I can clean and get small dirt or big dirt. Or big dirt. Or more big dirt. Or more. It doesn't matter. I could run over a nail in the floor, or I could run over a hairpin in the floor, or I could run over a penny in the floor. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to still pick it up. And that string I couldn't get a moment ago, with the Airway, after all of that, I get the string. Let me show you why. I've lost nothing. Feel right here. Is there more air going through that now than there was that a moment ago?
Oh, yes.
Can you understand why this cleans? Now, I'm going to do one more demonstration and show you that suction is not what cleans. I'm going to lay the penny in the floor. You saw me a moment ago pick the penny up. But the Airway, even though it's one of the most powerful units on the market, and the way they measure power is water lift. I'll explain that a little bit later. But even though it's one of the most powerful machines on the market, if I put this over the penny, but if I block the air with a carpet, it's like having a bag block. Even the Airway can no longer pick the penny up. See, suction is not what cleans. Let me show you something. As powerful as this machine is, the penny's still there. Now watch this. If I let air to it, though, remember I said airflow cleans?
Yeah.
It's the air that does the cleaning. That's the reason, Lisa, that a vacuum that has a standard bag can't clean. It's impossible. Because when the bag plugs, there is no cleaning. Okay? Now, the secret to Airway is this. When we pull the dirt and things into the bag here, that's what the little container sits in. See that cage? That's a metal cage, and that's got 3,500 holes in that cage. You see, in most vacuums, you pull the air in the front end of the bag, you pull it out the back end of the bag through the motor.
Right.
That'll stop up within a few minutes, and then to the sides, coat almost instantly. Here, when the air comes in this container, there's 3,500 holes that go all the way around this bag, all the way to the bottom. It's impossible to stop that bag up before it fills up. Now, to test that, and we don't recommend this, but we actually tested this, and I have it on video. We took all the major machines, and what we did is we put drywall dust, 25 pounds or 10 pounds of it in a 10-gallon bucket, and picked the drywall dust with all the vacuums, all the expensive ones. Airway was the only one that didn't blow dust through the bag, and it was the only one that didn't stop up. It filled the bag totally full. And if you'd like to see the video sometime, I'll show it to you. Now, what happens is that cage has got 3,500 holes in it. It sits in a metal tube that's got a 1/4-inch airspace in it. What I'm saying is that air is all the way around that container. That's why it won't stop up. And let me show you some of the tools here. Well, as a matter of fact, before I do that, why don't we just demonstrate that to you? Because I'd like you to see that. I'd like to actually show you why this doesn't stop up. And let me move this out of the way here, and I'm going to use this little bag here. I've got a mixture of black sand and salt in there. And let me show you what that cage actually does. When you cut it on, watch the salt and the sand. See how it's spinning it? Like a tornado almost.
Yeah.
What's happening, it's got all the dirt spinning, suspended in air. As long as it's suspended in air, it can't bank in against the sides to stop the hose up. That's what the cage does. That's why Airway is effective at the beginning of vacuuming and at the end. It doesn't stop up. In other words, it's effective until you fill the bag totally to the top. And this is a patented item. There's no other company that's got that cage, by the way. Okay? Now, let me put the bag back in. I'm going to demonstrate the tools. I'm going to do a little vacuum, and we'll be through. How do you freshen your cushions? Have you ever done that before? I tell you what my grandmother used to do. I bet you've seen your mom do this. What my grandmother used to do, and even my mom, is they'd get the cushions and they'd beat them, and they'd take them outside and lay them on a piece of tin and let them sun all day. Well, you know, people don't do that now. It's about to steal your cushions. So let me show you a real easy way to clean your cushion and freshen them. What you do is you get your plastic garbage bag, and I've got a clear one here that you can see through. However, you know, you can use any garbage bag that you got in the kitchen. Just those brown ones are fine. All you need to do is be plastic. Take your cushion and put it in the bag. So really about the only thing you need is a bag big enough to put your cushion in that you're going to freshen. Put it in the bag, and then we'll take our upholstery tube here, put it on, put it inside the bag, and what we'll do is we'll close the bag, and now what we'll do is cut the airway on, and we'll pull all of the air out of the cushion. And what we're doing now is we're getting the stale air too. We're getting all the stale air out of the cushion. See how flat that is there? It's pulling the stale air out of this cushion that's accumulated over the winter, and it's filtering it through the machine. And when the air comes out the back end of the machine, your air is now fresh. And then what you do, you cut this off, turn it loose, and it comes right back up. Or, let me show you another way to do it. If you put fragrances, if you'll put a fragrance on a pad, put it behind your bag, once you pull the air out of it, unhook this, take the plug out of the back of the machine, and stick this in the exhaust part of it. And so now what we'll do is we'll blow the fresh air back in it with the strawberry flavor or the orange flavor, whatever you want. Of course, I demonstrated the upholstery tool to you a moment ago. You remember I used this to do the couches with there. That's what that's for. In other words, it's so you can vacuum your furniture. In other words, I can vacuum the furniture here with the brush, or I can take the brush off and vacuum the furniture like I was doing a moment ago. Since this is a very sleek material, I probably wouldn't hesitate to do this. But if you had something where the strings or whatever would pull real easy, then you put your brush on, see. Another thing you can do with this tool, Lisa, is you can clean your drapes and your drapery and your curtains. For example, when you cut this on, you could cut this on, go over there to those drapes, and just put your hand behind the drape and just pull this down the drape. And then on the lighter curtains like you have in the kitchen over there, what you could do is you could open this valve, this bleed valve up here. That would cut your intake of air. And then at the same time, you could put this on low, and that way you don't pull as much air and it won't pull those light curtains in. Now, another thing that you can use this upholstery tool for is this is great for cleaning out your car. In other words, you can take this and clean out your floorboards, you can clean out your seats in your car. So that's got many, many uses. This tool is your dusting brush, and what that's really good for, Lisa, is it's like those pictures you have of your family over there. Well, this is real soft bristles here. It's horsehair, and it's real good to clean the pictures. It's good to clean the mirrors. You could even use this on your TV screen. See, that's so soft it wouldn't hurt it. And another thing I always like to show people is at this point is what we'll do is we'll put the equivalent of a vacuum bag on again, and what we'll do is I'm going to go over here to your lampshade. Of course, you can clean your lampshades with this. And a lot of people don't realize that they need to clean their lampshades, but just to give you an idea, let's put this on. And logically, there should be no dust on the lampshade here. But since we know that your vacuum blows dust just a little bit, let's run it down the lampshade 2 or 3 times and see what we got. Did you hear the motor?
Oh.
See, that's what happened. In other words, we've got dust on that lampshade. Now, where do you think that dust came from?
I guess my vacuum cleaner.
That's correct. Your vacuum blows dust in the air, and then, see, that settles on your lampshades and your furniture and so forth. See, that's how it gets up there. It gets out of the air. Again, with Airway, I'll just go ahead and put it in there. It won't hurt it. All right? This is your crevice tool. What this is for, Lisa, is you put this on, and you go down to your baseboards over there right next to the wall. Because, see, a lot of dust will gather between the carpet and the wall, and that's what that's for, get in tight places. Now, I'm going to be real honest with you. Most ladies don't do that because you got to unhook your vacuum. You got to take all the wiring loose. You got to put this on. You got to get down on your knees and do that, and then hook it all back up. We've got something that's even a lot more convenient than this. I'm going to show you in just a minute. Put this here. The last tool is our hardwood floor cleaner. Do you have either hardwoods or tile in the kitchen or bathroom?
Tile.
That's what this is for. To clean the tile floors, the hard floors, you put your brushes in the down position. And then when you go over a little throw rug, instead of having to change tools, release the brushes, and now you can go over your throw carpet. You don't have to change tools. And the last tool I'm going to show you is the major carpet cleaner. This is our power head. And what we're going to do here is hook this up. Now, what you do is you put your ones together when you first get your Airway, like this, and you hook this up one time, and then you don't have to hook it up again.